Thank you very much. The next speaker on my list is the distinguished representative of Slovakia, His Excellency Ivan Korčok. Minister, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear colleagues, I'd like to begin by thanking our Swedish host for successfully steering the organization throughout this difficult year. We're meeting in challenging times. The pandemic still rages over large parts of the globe, including in my own country, where we had to reintroduce the lockdown. And tensions are still high in the OSCE region. When we discuss the security and cooperation in Europe, we cannot overlook the developments in eastern Ukraine and in Crimea, unfortunately. We cannot say that the ceasefire of July 2020 is fully holding. The number of ceasefire violations reported per week is higher than a year ago. Other statistics are not encouraging either. People along the contact line are the main victims of the situation. No new crossing points have been opened. Members of the SMM mission cannot always move freely in order to do their job properly. The OSCE border observation mission at the Russian checkpoints in Gukovo and Donetsk had been closed. It is another disturbing development. Despite all the efforts, we do not see tangible progress in the work of the trilateral contact group. And Slovakia continues to stress the need to fully implement the Minsk agreements. It is also important for the participating states to engage in the Normandy format on the political level in order to move forward. More than a year after the fraudulent presidential elections in Belarus, the situation remains extremely worrying. Massive and systemic human rights abuses occur on a daily basis. Independent media are strangled. People are being persecuted just for their wish to live in freedom. Arbitrary detentions continue to take place, and representatives of the opposition and civil society are in jail or are forced to leave the country. Furthermore, the weapon of migration was pulled out in order to intimidate the EU countries. We strongly deplore the instrumentalization of migrants and refugees by the Belarusian government. We call again on Belarus to live up to its OSCE commitments, in particular in the human dimension, and engage in the meaningful discussion with participating states. Recommendations under Moscow mechanism remain valid and need to be addressed. The OSCE is the right venue for a meaningful dialogue, and let us use this venue for the sake of people of Belarus. Overall, the state of human rights and fundamental freedoms in the world is of great concern to us. We're facing an unprecedented number of challenges, new megatrends, threats and disruptions, including digital revolution, the impact of climate change, increasing inequality, irregular migration, violent extremism, pandemic, and so-called infodemic, to name just a few. That is why we believe that support for democracy and rule of law must be reinforced. Ladies and gentlemen, my country, Slovakia, continues to attach great importance to the treaties and agreements in the political-military dimension, including the Treaty on Conventional Armed Forces in Europe, the Treaty on Open Skies, and the Vienna document. This Vienna document urgently needs to be modernized, and regarding the Open Skies Treaty, in spite of US and Russia's withdrawal, it remains an legally binding instrument which contributes to transparency, security and stability and mutual confidence in the Euro-Atlantic area. Lastly, dear colleagues, we recognize the need to strengthen the OSCE's organizational effectiveness, including its planning and budgeting process, and is worried about recent trend of increasingly delayed and resource-consuming adoption of the OSCE unified budget. This has negative impact on the work of OSCE and its field. And very lastly, I'd like to wish every success to my dear colleague from Poland, who's not here, but in spite of that, to Zbigniew and his team. That will be certainly a successful chairmanship. And we welcome the agreement that was reached regarding the OSCE chairmanship for 2025. Congratulate Finland Nevertheless, we regret that it was not possible to find consensus for the OSCE Chairmanship 2024. Thank you, Madam Chair, and sorry for speaking beyond the limit. Thank you.